Hi guys, it's Nala and welcome to the Optimistic Outlook podcast. I cannot even believe I am saying those words, but I have mentioned in a lot of videos recently coming up towards this video that I have a big announcement regarding the Optimistic Outlook podcast. I discussed kind of what I want to talk about and how I want to create a series with it, and I am so excited to announce that I have turned this into a podcast. A couple things I just want to touch on. We're not going to be talking about any kind of specific topics today. I just kind of wanted this to be my launch. Number one, if the microphone quality is terrible, it's because I'm using a super cheap microphone that I already had, and I plan on getting a newer one soon, so bear with me. If it sounds terrible, I'll probably just switch audios, but bear with me with the audio for a little bit because I've never had a podcast before. I've never ever done anything like this audio-wise. I don't really know anything about this. I just had the random urge. I'll get into that in a second, but let me just tell you, number one, I'll put up a little logo for the people that are watching on video, but I know some of you guys are just audio. You guys should also see my logo as the album cover, but I'll put up a little logo of our Optimistic Outlook logo. I'm so excited. And also this podcast will be available on only YouTube platforms. I made this as a YouTube podcast so that it could synchronize well with my channel. And also I just don't really know how to do all the other stuff with other apps and other things. And I really like the feature of being able to synchronize my podcast with my channel. So where you can find the podcast is on number one on my podcast playlist on my channel. You'll see it. It should be also featured on the homepage. And if you just go to playlist under podcast, there's a whole podcast section. And then you can also find it on YouTube Podcasts and YouTube Music. So those are the three apps that those will be available on. YouTube Podcast, I believe, is just on the YouTube app, but YouTube Music is a totally different app. Yeah, so it's a YouTube podcast. That's where it'll be available. I'm just so happy about this. Literally, I'm so excited. I have no idea what this sounds like, but I'm just gonna have to roll with it. Also, I'm at my dad's house. If you're not noticing the background, I was hoping that I'd be able to film a video, like I said, for the video viewers that are watching this. If you don't notice the house, I'm at my dad's house, and I just wanted to be able to film this before him. I wasn't able to film it before leaving for my summer vacation, but it's so funny. I just have to get so used to talking more clear and speaking slower, because for the audio listeners, that's literally all you're listening to. But I just really wanted to do this because as a girl who drives a lot and goes to the gym and is just out and about, I wanted my videos to also be able to branch out for people that might not always be able to watch them. And I know that I love podcasts. I was starting up the Optimistic Outlook series again. And let me just give you a little bit of backstory if you guys don't know what I'm even talking about right now. About a year ago, I believe, or a couple months back, I decided that I was going to do a series on my channel called the Optimistic Outlook. And that series is going to be everything from productivity, positivity, motivation. And I was going to do vlog style and all this stuff and just honestly have more focused videos outside of my vlogs. That never really became anything. I did one episode and I still really wanted to do it, but I just didn't know how I wanted to approach it, and I didn't really like how my first episode came out. And then I decided recently, within the last month, that I was going to do sit-down videos instead on YouTube and just sit down podcast style. Not it being a podcast, but honestly just sit down and talk about everything from wellness, mental health, all that stuff. And we were just gonna have a nice little girl talk and kind of chat on creating a happy life and living with an optimistic outlook. And then I decided, I'm not in the place right now to do Spotify and all this stuff, but I do want to see what I can do to create this into a podcast, or if there was a way to make a playlist or something on YouTube. And once I did my research, I was so amazed that there's literally a way to create a YouTube podcast that's only available on YouTube, but YouTube has an audio only version as well. So I get the perks of having, a podcast with it still being synchronized and without me really having to do too much more. So you can obviously watch this video or audio. Bear with me also if I'm talking and I say a few things because I am videotaping right now. I am recording on my camera for any audio listeners listening. So I do talk sometimes as if I'm just talking to the camera, but I know that there are some that are just listening in audio. But yeah, so that was my plan. I wanted to do a series, and I then decided that why not do some research. I did it and found that feature, and I was amazed and quickly made it. I tried to learn how I would edit. Bear with me with that too, because it's going to be very difficult. I've never edited a podcast before. It's very different than editing a YouTube video. But yeah, that's pretty much the announcement. I don't really know what else to say too much outside of get ready for some really fun episodes, really in-depth episodes where we just pretty much have a girl talk and have chit-chat videos. Like I said, the quality will go up as I learn more about what I'm doing. I literally just decided to do this, but I'm so excited and I'm I'm so excited for people that can listen to audio only now. I will insert a picture for video watchers of the different apps you can reach this podcast on. I'm hoping to have a lot of these videos out during the summer. I'm very, very excited. But yeah, so pretty much the Optimistic Outlook podcast is everything from positivity, motivation, productivity, wellness, mental health. Obviously, I'm not a mental health professional, but it's just tips that have helped me in my life and just kind of having little chit chat videos. And I'm so happy that I'm able to branch out into this form because I know that so many more of you will be able to listen. And yeah, so welcome to the Optimistic Outlook podcast. I am your host, Nala Jane. I cannot believe that I'm even saying that right now, but I am so happy. And I don't even know what the intro is going to be. Comment down below what my intro should be for the video watchers because I don't even know what to say. I feel like I'm going to be introing everything as if I'm talking to YouTube, but really it's a totally different avenue. So I'm very excited about this. But yeah, stay tuned for lots of summer content, lots of summer episodes, and welcome to episode 1 of the Optimistic Outlook podcast. This is just my podcast launch. I have plenty of ideas, so I'm very, very excited for the upcoming stuff. But oh my gosh, I am so happy and just excited that I took the step to research it. And yes, thank you guys. And I'm just so happy that I could finally share this with you because it's been a couple of weeks now, up to a month that I've been trying to work on navigating this and trying to figure all this out. But bear with me with my editing for any video watchers along with audio listeners because I've never edited a podcast before. For any video watchers, please comment down below if you know what to do or if you know anyone that does know what to do because it's very, very different for me. It's much more raw, I feel like, and real, and you connect more with your listeners because there's not as much editing really involved with the podcast, maybe just major breaths and stuff. But honestly, it's more of a sit down, FaceTime call, chat, and I'm very, very excited about that. But yeah, stay tuned for more content, and this is where I think I'm going to wrap up this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening, for watching if you're watching, or listening if you're audio only. I will link down below everywhere you can listen to this podcast that it will be available also under all my YouTube videos. But yeah, I am so excited, and thank you guys so much for listening to episode 1 of the Optimistic Outlook podcast, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.